Ever wished you could own a piece of, well, dozens of major companies, all without needing to be a millionaire? Well, you kind of can. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something called collective investment schemes. All right, so what on earth is a collective investment scheme? The easiest way to think about it is like an investment potluck. Seriously, instead of a casserole, you and a bunch of other people all chip in some money. You put it all into one giant pot, and then a pro chef, in this case a fund manager, takes all that cash and cooks up an amazing diversified portfolio. That's a collective investment scheme, or CIS, in a nutshell. So here's our game plan. We'll start by nailing down what a CIS really is. Then we'll meet the key players, check out different types of schemes, see how they're built from the ground up, and wrap up with the big one, why any of this should matter to you. Let's get into it. All right, section 1. So what is a CIS, really? When you strip it all away, it comes down to one simple but really powerful idea: pooling your money. So what makes a CIS a CIS? Well, there are a few core ingredients. First, you've got that pooled money we talked about, and it's all managed by a professional. Now, here's a really important point. You don't have day-to-day control. You're handing the keys over to an expert. In exchange, you get what's called a participatory interest. Don't think of it as owning a share of one company. Think of it as owning a slice of the entire investment pie. And of course, the risks and the rewards, they're shared by everyone based on the size of their slice. Okay, so who are the people running the show? I mean, for this whole thing to work smoothly and, more importantly, safely, you need a team. There are 3 essential roles, and I like to think of them as the brains, the guardian, and the vault. First up, let's talk about the brain. This is the manager. This is the person or team making all the big investment decisions. They're the ones digging into the research, watching the markets, and deciding what to buy and sell to make that big pot of money grow. Next, we have the guardian. This is the trustee, and this role is absolutely critical for your protection. The trustee holds the legal title to all the assets in the fund. Now, they aren't picking stocks. Their job is to be a watchdog. They make sure the manager is following all the rules. It's this separation of power that keeps everything in check. And rounding out our trio is the vault, the custodian. Now, while the trustee has the legal paperwork, the custodian is in charge of physically or digitally holding onto the assets themselves. You can think of them as the Fort Knox for the fund, making sure every single asset is safely locked down. And you know, none of this works on a simple handshake. The whole operation is governed by a super important legal document called a trust deed. This is the official rulebook. It spells out in black and white exactly what the manager and the trustee can and cannot do. It's the contract that keeps everybody honest. All right, so we've met the team, but what are they actually investing in? Because not all schemes are created equal. Let's dig into a couple of the most common types you'll see out there. So probably the most popular one you'll hear about is a unit trust. The idea here is really simple. The fund's entire portfolio, all its stocks, bonds, you name it, is chopped up into identical little pieces called units. When you invest, you're just buying some of these units. And the value of your units, it just moves up and down with the total value of everything in the fund. Easy, right? Then you've got something a bit more specialized, like a real estate investment trust, or a REIT for short. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's a collective scheme that pools money to invest specifically in real estate. We're talking office buildings, shopping malls, apartment complexes. It's a way for you to invest in big-time property without having to, buy an entire skyscraper yourself. So let's just boil it down. Unit trusts, they're usually about financial stuff, stocks and bonds. REITs, they're all about physical property, bricks and mortar. The core idea of pooling your money is exactly the same, but what you're actually investing in is totally different. Okay, so how is one of these things actually born? You can't just wake up one day and start a fund in your garage. It's a very formal, very regulated process. There is an official blueprint you have to follow. And the main watchdog here is the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. Their job is to protect you, the investor. So here's how it goes down. Step 1, the manager, trustee, and custodian all have to be official incorporated companies. Step 2, they draft that all-important trust deed. Step 3, the whole scheme has to be registered with the SEC. Step 4, even the units themselves have to be registered. And finally, Step 5, the prospectus, that's the official sales document, has to get the green light before they can even think about asking the public for money. Okay, we've gone through the what, the who, and the how. But now for the most important question of all. So what? Why does any of this matter to you? When you put it all together, it really comes down to 4 massive benefits for an investor like you. First, there's access. You get to own a piece of investments that would normally be way out of reach. Second, expertise. You've got a pro making the tough calls for you. Third, diversification. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're instantly spread out. And finally, and maybe most importantly, oversight. With the trustee and the SEC watching over things, you've got a built-in safety net. So there you have it, the whole framework. Pooled money, professional management, and solid regulation. It's a pretty powerful formula, especially for someone just getting started. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you understand the blueprint, could a collective investment scheme be the key that unlocks the market for you?